Let us pray. Father, we pray just now for all of our city and Coffee County government leaders and for this proceeding tonight. We pray your blessing on everything that happens here. We want to lift up all the government leaders and all the communities across our land, including our leaders in Washington and our president. Lord, save those who are not yet your own. Give all those in authority wisdom in every decision that they make. Grant them discernment and common sense so they'll be strong and effective leaders. And help our leaders to govern with integrity, and may their integrity guide them and keep them accountable to those in authority over them and to the constituents whom they represent. Be their defender and protector and keep them always on guard. Help those who are Christians to be strong and bold, standing firm in their faith and influencing others for your kingdom. Encourage and strengthen them, giving them the wisdom that they need, and help them to have courage and faith in you no matter what they're facing from day to day. We ask these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alderman French.
Here.
Alderman Anderson. Here. Alderman Bellamy.
Here.
Alderman Hobbs.
Here.
Vice Mayor Messick.
Here.
Alderman Parsley.
Here.
Do I have a motion for the February the 7th meeting? Do I hear a second? Any corrections or additions to the motion? If not, call roll, please.
Alderman French.
Pass.
Alderman Anderson. Aye. Alderman Bellamy.
Aye.
Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick.
Aye.
Alderman Parsley.
Aye.
Any correspondence?
No.
Any comments from the citizens? If not, I'd just like to welcome everybody here, and it's always good to see people come and participate and be a part of what's going on, and I just appreciate you. With that, we'll get into the committee, safety committee.
Next safety committee meeting will be Monday night. We'll have department updates and start some budget conversations.
Finance.
Finance will also be next Monday night, the 13th. We'll have a 105 update, ARP funds update, and start some budget conversations.
Thank you. Okay, street department.
Street Department will have a special call meeting on Tuesday, March 14th at noon, right here in the City Hall boardroom, to discuss the acceptance of the road between Truckers Inn and the truck stop out there. Is that right, Brittany? That's what we're talking about before we went, right?
To discuss the acceptance of the revised plans.
Right. So we're going to do it right on Tuesday, the 14th at noon.
Okay, water and sewer.
On Thursday, we're going to have our meeting at the shop at 3 p.m.
Thank you. Recreation.
Recreation meets again on Thursday at noon at the Recreation Center, and there's a lot going on there. They've got sign-ups going on for the lifeguard class. We have an underwater egg hunt coming up, and also, I think, a 5K at Common John. So check out the Facebook page if you guys are interested.
Thank you, Alderman Anderson. Tourism.
Tourism will also meet Monday the 13th, and the biggest topic on it right now is the budget for next year.
Planning and zoning.
Our meeting is March 20th at 5:30 here in the boardroom. They've got the agendas today, if not today, tomorrow.
Okay. Information systems.
We have none to report.
And we do have a new sound system. Hope everybody can hear us.
There you go. You got something to brag about.
Okay, historic zoning.
We did not have a meeting. We got one coming up.
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
get into the resolution.
Resolutions A, resolution to amend the benefits of Philip Miller, the newly hired director of the City of Manchester Water and Sewer Department, sponsored by Alderman Bellamy.
Make a motion.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Ms. David, would you kind of explain where we are on that? Since we said that it would be based on past employees, would you come to the mic and kind of, this is our new HR director, Chris David. And we do want to welcome you here.
So my understanding is he did not carry any sick time with him. As in the ordinance, it states that they will earn 1 day or 8 hours a month. So he will accrue 1 day a month for as long as he's employed with us. So that'll be 12 days for the year, basically. And then for a 10-year employee for vacation time, he'll have 15 days of vacation.
So you're putting before us 12 days of sick, from this day forward, 15 days of vacation.
He'll earn 1 a month if you want to give him the 12 days. Now, I guess that's up to y'all, but typically they accrue 1 day a month.
Why don't we ask Phil if he needs some time off?
Well, I thought our original discussion last time was giving him some of his vacation and sick
He did
from
not
his
have-
prior employees, because that's what we did with the other hires.
He did not have any sick time to carry over. If he's got vacation time, I'm not aware of that.
I did, but I just didn't bring it to the table because I thought we were gonna use the 10-year as a benchmark.
For sick time,
Yeah, but I mean, the 12 days or 15 days, 12 days sick and 15-day vacation is, I think, fair.
So what's the pleasure of the board?
Well, I don't know what we're doing.
Well, right now, it's a 10-year employee that brings forth what they had before. And we couldn't find out anything that you had, Bill, and I couldn't make that decision. It has to be a number that's put forth for the board.
So all we're doing is putting him into the 10-year employment slot. That's all this resolution is doing. So he'll accrue at the 10-year rate versus year 1 rate. Correct? Is that?
Well,
there's
originally,
not a 10-year rate for sick time. It's just that from day 1, you start accruing that. We could do a best guess and say that somebody who's been here for 10 years and never been sick has umpteen.
So we went back and looked at the minutes and listened to the minutes about the motion that was passed. So the best we can tell from the motion that was seconded and voted on was that he is supposed to accumulate regular vacation leave, annual leave, at the rate of the 10-year employee, and that any previously accumulated sick leave from any other qualified government utility be accepted. He did not have any because he did not work at a qualified Tennessee government facility or utility, so therefore no sick time came. But the 10-year he will accumulate as if he brought 10 years over, so the clock would start ticking like he's been somewhere at 10 years.
And they just didn't qualify because they were for TCR. They were signed up for TCRS.
Well, and Director Miller can tell you better than me.
I just didn't bring anything to the table because when we talked about the 10-year option, I thought that was more than fair, and I didn't want to bring anything extra. I thought that was fine.
So
if you think it's fair, I think it's fair enough. We're not arguing for you.
So what are the numbers? 10 years vacation if no one's taken a vacation, or if someone had never taken a vacation. So what are the numbers?
No. He's going to start out as a 10-year employee, so he'll accumulate annual leave as if he worked for the previous 10 years with us.
How much time did you have accumulated?
In Tennessee or in the previous state?
Tennessee.
All right, so Tennessee, McMinnville, I worked there for a year, and then War Trace, I worked there for a year and 3 months. So whatever the normal amount is there. Usually you get 2 weeks vacation, I think, starting off, and then as far as sick time, I think you probably get maybe 1 day a month.
And you use it in this item one?
Maybe a little bit, yeah, but nothing crazy. So that would be 24 sick days minus, maybe 6, so 18 sick days and a couple weeks vacation.
I got one more question. When this meeting's over with, what will he be able to take if he needs it?
They'll have 15 days of vacation, and as far as what the policy states, and he did not bring over any sick time, he will start accruing sick time from his first day. So I'm not sure when you started, but 1 a month, so 8 hours a month, he will start accruing.
But if he walks out the door, he'll have the, what?
15 days of vacation.
Good. No problem.
So let's go.
Does everybody understand what we're voting on? Any questions? Okay, the resolution is as stated that he will get 15 days of vacation and accumulated as a 10-year employee sick time. And I will commend you, Phil, that you could have stayed off that whole week that your wife had the baby and you came to work every day except one. But, okay, if no more questions, call the roll, please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson. Alderman Bellamy.
Aye.
Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Passes.
B, a resolution authorizing the purchase of a Q's TVO trailer system for mainline inspections for $227,823.04 for use of the Water and Sewer Department of the City of Manchester, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded. Any comments from the board? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Resolution passes 6-0.
Getting into ordinances.
A, under ordinances, a second reading for an ordinance to rezone a portion owned by Common John Brewing Company at 210 Woodbury Highway from R3 to C3, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick. This is a public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it is a public hearing. Any comments from the public? Any comments from the board? The motion has been made and seconded. The motion is as stated. Will you call the roll, please?
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy.
Aye.
Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Ordinance second and final reading passes 6-0.
B, a second reading for an ordinance amending Title 14, Chapter 3 of the Manchester Municipal Code, the same being the zoning ordinance of the City of Manchester, to amend the definition of wholesale sales, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded. Any comments from the board? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman French.
Pass.
Alderman Bellamy.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. You go back to Alderman French.
Alderman French?
Abstain.
C, a first reading of an ordinance rezoning property owned by A. Howard, edx Maryland Howard, on Hillville Boulevard and Buck Street containing 39 and 68/100 acres from R2M and C3 to R2, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick.
Do I hear a motion? So moved. Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
What part of it is C3?
Brady, you got your papers with you. Most everything around it. Oh, the C3 is on the front of the highway.
It's on where?
In front of the highway, 41 highway, the old fire hall. Back right behind it.
Right. This one right here? Nothing faces.
I think everything in the yellow is in.
I'm good. I just, yeah, okay.
How much of this is in the floodplain, do you know?
I'm not sure, I don't know.
A significant amount. Is the intent, do we know if the intent is to ask for a special exception if he gets the R2 to get more units on it?
Well, it's going from R2M, or from R2M, which allowed for multifamily units. So he's actually asking for less units now than there would be if it stayed the same.
That's not what I remember from the discussion at the planning commission meeting, but I could be incorrect. But because of a lot of it being in the floodplain and the issues that we're having in the sewer, I'm going to be voting against this.
Any more discussion? Call the roll, please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
No.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley.
D, a first reading of an ordinance to adopt a bi-weekly pay period for all city employees, sponsored by Alderman Hobbs.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay. It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I'd like to ask George and Phil, is this going to cause any of your employees real hardships? Not an inconvenience, a hardship.
Well, I know a couple of them, that's why I think they're gonna try to, we've already told them it's coming, so to be prepared for it.
Okay.
You know what I mean, to get them set up a little ahead of time. I think it's not supposed to happen until like first of
You know, I knew several years ago we were going to do this, and it was,
Well, they made a lot less too, so that.
yeah, and it was a lot of, it was going to be a hardship, but.
They're gonna have a 6-month warning.
I would ask, if possible, for the board to consider approval of everyone on bi-weekly pay schedule starting at the end of May the 1st pay period. And on May the 11th, everyone will switch over. That's giving everybody 2 months to get prepared for this. They will, the raises will have come in, and it will move it forward, because payroll is more than just putting out the check. It also has to do with taxes, retirement, reconciliation. So I would throw that out there. If you would consider that instead of July, have it that we adopted tonight, bi-weekly payroll cycle and pay period beginning 5/11 and paid on 5/1 paid 5/11. Instead of 6 months to be prepared, they would have 2 months, but I would ask for that amendment, but
I'll present that in a motion for amendment.
I'd like to remind everybody here that the Finance Committee voted to do it to begin July 1st, and that we also gave notice to the employees that we would do it July 1st. And I know payroll might be a problem, but for 3 months with the employees that we've got working there, I believe they can handle it. And I for one, don't want to see us go back on our word to what we promised the city employees we'd do.
Can I say that it was a recommendation of the Finance Committee? That the Finance Committee has made recommendations before, and by the time it came to the board voted on it. But that is my suggestion, and do we have an amendment to this motion that it be July? Are you making that in form of amendment?
So the July is in the resolution.
I did make a motion for amendment to that.
We do not have a second.
Do we have a second on the amendment?
Second.
Okay. We will, right now, we have a motion.
So basically what we're talking about is 6 weeks. Correct.
Tonight, starting tonight, May the 1st, that's beginning on May the 1st, and paid on May the 11th, so that is the amendment and the second. Do I have a discussion on the amendment? We're not making a vote on the original motion. It is on the amendment to change that part of the motion from July to May.
I just say the same thing, that we need to do what we have told the employees we're gonna do. And both departments have gone back and told them we would change July 1st. And I don't see any reason to change it until I think we'll do what we said we'd do.
So I want to just entertain this. Why are we going back and telling the employees that that's going to happen when we haven't voted on it?
Well, it came from the finance.
Well, I understand.
I know,
But I mean,
you know how word gets.
I know, but I get that. That's not fair for you to say that to me, because it's not my fault they went back and told employees that it was going to start July 1st. The first reading's tonight.
I know.
I mean, it could fail altogether.
I understand.
It fails altogether, you don't make no difference.
He doesn't, yeah,
George, you're here, is Bill's here. Do you think 6 weeks is going to change anything?
Well, I mean, I was here, but Christine had went back and told them about the start of July 1st. So they said, well, that'll give us time to prepare, but that's what they'll vote on.
I would say that 90% of the people that work in my department do not like this. But, like Melanie said, is it an inconvenience or is it a hardship? And it's probably just an inconvenience. So.
And I'll go back to say, I'm sorry. I'll go back and say too, that if you're going to do it, it's past the 10% raise too, of all times to make the adjustment.
With the back pay that they're getting, it might put a little bit extra in their pocket to not make it such a hardship.
There shouldn't be, the back pay alone should eliminate that.
They won't get a lot back, right? If they get $100, that'll be good. A lot.
Any more discussion before from the board?
Wait a minute. They get more than $100 because it's already been 2 months. And having not done it, 8 weeks. 8 weeks, what it is. It'll be more than $100.
And I'm not calling names, but 37 employees make less than the employees on these other two, and other two departments. And they make it. And I can say, if we're going to do it in July, and yes, it was a recommendation of the finance, but it's not until the board votes on resolution that, there's been a motion on the floor to amend it to instead of July, have it in May and this night forward. And I'm calling the question, and I say we put it to vote. Call the roll, please. We're not voting on the initial, the bi-weekly, we're voting on right now, do we want to move it from the recommendation of the Finance Committee, which was in July, to the clock starts ticking tonight and it starts 1st of May? Call the roll, please.
Alderman French. Alderman Anderson.
No.
Alderman Bellamy.
No.
Alderman Hobbs.
No.
Vice Mayor Messick.
No.
Alderman Parsley.
Okay. Now we're going to go to the original motion that will go to bi-weekly, that it starts in July. The original motion.
I'd like to have
We can-
so, Also in here, I mean, we talk about going to a 1.5 week pay cycle for a period of 4 pay periods. I think we should take that out.
I'm sorry, I left that part out. So you're making a motion that we take that part out?
And we go with July 1st and we don't do anything before it, just it changes on July the 1st.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay. Okay, there has been amendment to the original motion that we take the week and a half after July out. Any discussions on it? If not, call the roll. And what we're voting on now is the amendment to take the week and a half after July 1.
Before. Take it all out before. It was be paid.
Take all of those.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy.
Aye.
Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick.
Aye.
Alderman Parsley.
Okay. Now we're voting on the original motion without what we took out, that we will go to a bi-weekly, the 1st of July. Now here, we made a motion, we seconded it. Any more discussion on this? Okay.
I wanted to say that I have been communicated to about this from some employees in the water department and street departments. And, you know, these are people that are on budgets, the week-to-week, paycheck-to-paycheck budgets. And I think that for some of them, it would cause a hardship at this time because of the inflation that's going on. And I'm not sure that the 10% correction is enough. So for that reason, although I think it's a good thing for the city of Manchester to streamline, I don't think the timing is great. So I'm going to be voting no.
Any more discussion from the board? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
No.
Alderman Bellamy.
Aye.
Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick.
Aye.
Alderman Parsley.
E, first reading of an ordinance to amend Manchester Municipal Code 18-203 relative to tap fees and capacity fees, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick.
She'll move.
Do I hear a second? Any discussion from the board? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy.
Aye.
Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick.
Aye.
Alderman Parsley.
F, a first reading of an ordinance to amend Manchester Municipal Code 18-201 relative to non-payment of bills, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay. A motion has been made and accepted. The motion is stated. Any questions from the board?
Have we got, does this give a, some kind of written notice prior to the cutoff?
Yes, it's in place.
So if you fix to cut my water off, then
You will get a red postcard in the mail.
like we used to get,
Yeah, saying, and then until we switch to the new billing, if that happens, it'll say on the bill.
so they'll know that they're getting close.
Yeah.
Any more comments from the board? Any more questions?
When's the timeline on the billing or switch up?
That's a good question. In order to get the data that they need, we have to pay money to our in-code, it's called, in order to get the data and then give it to them. So I would say if all that passes through, maybe a couple more months.
Excuse me, Phil, but why are we having to pay for our own data?
That's a good question. I guess that's the way that it's set up.
I mean, when it's ours, isn't it?
There's a program called the Encoding, and that's a program that all the municipalities own around here. And it's not, we don't own that program. So we have to pay to get that, and we shouldn't have to, you're 100% correct. We should be on something other than what we're on.
Well, that's something we need to change if that's a problem. If we
That's-
have to pay for our own data.
that's a problem for future, but that doesn't change anything that.
It's kind of an Encode special. There's always a fee for,
Yeah.
So right now with Encode, unless we pay them $9,000, that we cannot get a new billing system. Is there problems with sometimes the bills don't go out? Is there problems with the billing system right now?
That's correct. In code, we have to purchase a $9,000 software that allows us to draw the information, the billing information from Encode so that we can send to a third-party billing. And then it's another $1,650 a year to maintain that software license.
So can we have that hard line in 45 days? Right now, there's 10 days, there's a red card that's supposed to go out, and then there's 15 more days. But is it safe to say that some people don't get that first card?
That's correct. Those cards are notorious for being lost in the mail, tore up in the sorting machines. It's not a real good system anymore. Most everybody's went to paper billing envelopes.
So going with 45 days, if it's not like I have a standard, I pay $100 a month for something consistently, like insurance or whatever, but it's different every month. So can we hold that hard line if people don't get the bill because of the mailing system and the cards? Could we make a phone call, or is it possible that we see someone's getting in 45 days and they've never had a bill, been a late pay? Is there a way to kind of check that?
Yes.
We're going from actually 25 days to 45 days. What about if there's a big manufacturing company that's 45 days over and we've said 45 days, how do we handle that?
We'd make a phone call.
Any more comments or questions? If not,
We didn't vote.
Yeah, who made the motion on this?
I did.
On this one?
96.
Oh.
so we're actually adding 45 days to 45 days instead of actually 25. Right now, there's 10, and then there's 15 days later, which is kind of standard. Okay, everybody knows what we're voting for? If no more comments, call the roll, please.
Alderman French. Alderman Anderson. Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hall. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley.
Okay, is there any old business we need to discuss? If not, we're moving into new business, which is a mental health plan with David Tate, wellness all around for first responders for $20,450 yearly. Good job.
make the motion.
No, I didn't. Okay. Okay. Do I hear a motion? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, there is a motion on the floor and a second for this wellness all-around plan. Is there any discussion?
Do we not have a plan already? Is this not it, your ComSci guidance resources program? So why would he know? Y'all answer that one for me.
I believe from discussion that this covers like everyone who's under the roof of the first responders. It's covering all the family members, everyone who's there. I mean, I think from the discussion, the fire chief, I think, Chief Chambers, did you have some discussion that was relevant to this during the committee meeting?
Yes, ma'am. I brought up during the committee meeting that we have an external source for some of the same services this offers through us to the Tennessee Fire Chaplains Association here in the state of Tennessee. And that resource is free of charge to all firefighters and their family members. And we use that resource on a regular basis.
The fire department doesn't need this. What about the police department?
So, before we answer that,
Okay.
can I make a comment or two, right? So, we got an email today, right, from Ms. Myers, that, I don't know if everybody's had a chance to see it, yes or no, but basically, the new insurance company we have offers some kind of a plan similar to this. Yes, it's in the packet today. We probably should review what's being offered, what we have that's new that we just found out about today that's provided to us free, along with the fire departments, what they have access to, and then we can do the same for the police department. Probably what I'm asking is to push this, postpone it to the next meeting, put it back to the safety committee to kind of give some review, and then come back to the full board.
Before we move forward on a motion and comments, I'd like to say this. We're talking about a suicide prevention tool, and the fact that we're just all learning of all these tools that we already have, that's the problem. This is a tool that actually trains someone internally, provides a mentor program, and it's a local service that's came and reached out that can actually work with our department. It's great we got these suicide prevention tools that we have no idea that are available to us until now. That's the problem. That's the problem. Because if our current city insurance provider, which, by the way, we've all shared our opinions on that, if they cared about this tool that our employees have, do you not think that they would reach out to our employees and let them know that we have this tool available already? And we'll find out about it now. I think that's a big problem when you're talking about suicide prevention, that you don't know that the tools are in front of you. And I'm not putting that on us. We're not the insurance provider. We hired an insurance provider. That insurance provider should be educating our employees on the tools available to them. And to my understanding, this was not even on the radar. So that, to me, is the biggest problem with why I would vote for this external service. Because the one that we have is garbage. And if you're going to have a suicide prevention tool, I would like to have one that's not garbage.
Well, I can say, and I would ask that you guys were in-house the day that it went down. And the way I understood it, we did have a policy, and nobody understands suicide more than I do in my family. On the 6 o'clock news playing over and over. And, if one more insurance policy, but we did have a policy in place. Did we not, Chief and Adam, when the day that went down, that we did have something in place that day? Am I right? That was part of that, and they had someone that came in, and I thought it was part of the insurance policy at the time.
I don't think it was part of the insurance policy.
Okay.
That was a group that had some connections through critical incident, stress debriefing type through one of our officers. I don't think that was what you're thinking of. I don't think was anything to do with their insurance.
And let me just stress too, this is not an insurance policy. This is a program. This is an actual program that engages a conversation with employees and sets up a network of support within the workforce. This is completely different than an on-the-shelf policy. We have a policy for anything, but if we don't have anybody here instructing the policy locally, it doesn't matter, especially in this particular case. I'm not for tabling this. I'm for voting on it tonight. But we can, if we have a motion either way,
We have a motion and a second to table to postpone it. We have a second, or you're making that motion, right? Alderman
I
Hall.
agree with Ryan, right? I mean, he makes some valid points. The insurance, I know we're starting to get on board with those guys more, but I think it does make sense. So Well, I'm not going to make a motion. Somebody else would like to get in.
I hear a motion to accept the policy that's before us for the election. Okay, and I have a second.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion that, right now we're voting on the mental health plan with David Tate, wellness all around. And I will say, our insurance policy calls for a 6-session plan. And walking through suicide, does this plan with David Tate cover more than 6 sessions would?
Yeah, I don't know.
I have nothing from, that's why there's nothing from the wellness all around in your packet. I never received anything.
The presentation they made to the work session, it goes above and beyond. Again, this is not confusing this with an insurance policy is a mistake, because this actually provides some training to our workforce to create a network within the workforce of support for listening, knowing when to elevate a situation that deserves to be elevated, and then has support for hotline and sessions additionally. So it's a two-pronged approach. It's not just hoping I feel suicidal, so I'm going to call hotline. This is actually creating a network of helping facilitate that person into a conversation. And again, that I think is the most relevant part of it. On the backside of it, not only provides the resources that they have, but the resources that are covered by insurance that we have in place don't go away. And so those sessions can still be in play as well if they're needed further down the line.
Any more comments?
Will they come in and talk to our first responders firsthand, just to create that contact and build that relationship, that they do feel comfortable reaching out to them?
That's the biggest difference in this, is actually identifying leaders within groups and having those people trained to actually have that conversation and elevate the conversation. And I do think it would be critical for them to come make the presentation to you in the coming days too. That will be utmost importance.
Mayor, I'm going to vote for this, but my experience as an officer for as many years as I've been, and my knowing officers as they are, don't know much about firemen, but I think firemen are pretty close to the same. And I pray that I am wrong. These guys are not going to use it. But I'm going to vote for it.
Any more comments?
Well, I was just going to give anybody cover that wants to vote no, because I'm like Bob, I don't think anybody's going to use it, and I'm not going to vote for it.
It does cover the widow. It may go more than 6 sessions, but that's just, but anyway, it's similar to the military program that was adopted, the one that we're adopting now.
It sounds like to me that, yes, something that the military went to a few years ago to, cover similar situations. Within the units, it creates a point of contact, a person who's trained to recognize the signs of and sounds of suicidal ideations, and it creates a process to be followed when those signs and sounds appear, and elevate it to a level that will seek out the person to get help. Is that a fair assessment of what it is at the?
I have a question on this one. Will they come in here and will they set up and communicate with the employees, the first responders? When another officer sees something out there in there, will they automatically come in at that point or after the fact?
If it's just after the fact, I'd vote against it. They're not gonna get help before something happens.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Are they coming in here to set up a plan? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, so I mean, what the plan is they come in and train so that the peers start identifying and noticing the signs to try to get them up. That's what the goal is.
But then counseling's still available, right, for folks that reach out on their own?
Absolutely, yes.
I think their presentation and work session was very well done, and I think we all know that we have a need for this year, unfortunately, because of the tragedy here, so I'll be voting for it.
I love Bob and Mark both, but your comments are specifically why we need this plan. When you say someone won't use this plan, that's the whole point of building a network of people that will communicate and elevate those conversations. Because you're right, they won't go and have that conversation themselves. This provides a funnel to help them to get to help when they may not recognize that they need it themselves. So your opposition to this is exactly why we need it. They're not going to use it.
I'm gonna vote for it.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
I appreciate Mark voting for it too, please.
If no more discussion, call the roll, please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy.
Aye.
Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick.
No.
Alderman Parsley.
Pass. Okay. Next, we have the athletic director's job description. Do I hear a motion to approve the athletic director's job description?
Motion.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Any comments?
Yeah, I like to make a motion that we strike the bachelor's degree from the description. And I'd like to see us do more of that across the board with some of these positions, because we've got people that are need to be elevated over years, they need to be elevated. And the bachelor's degree is going to be something you see less and less of in the next 15, 20 years.
Do I hear a second to Alderman French's motion that we strike that portion of a BS degree from that job description?
It does mention that it's preferred.
I just don't want to discourage. I'm thinking internally, so I don't want to discourage.
That's why it's changed also, is to open up to more candidates that don't fit the bachelor's degree requirement.
Yeah, so with it being preferred, doesn't carry weight anyway. I just like to strike it altogether.
We can add in there that without a bachelor's degree, they can meet so many years of experience. That takes that out, but doesn't completely eliminate.
Yeah, I'm not so much for the semantics. I'm for whoever's going to get the job done. I've seen a lot of people with a bachelor's degree that just are terrible at their job.
I agree.
So
I would think that putting in so many years of experience doing that job or having would be beneficial.
But I didn't get a second, so carry forward.
So I've got a motion and a second. No second on accepting the job description as written.
We do.
No second on him changing, amending it.
Okay, but you dropped that amendment.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have a motion to accept the job description and a second. Have we gotten a second? Okay. Any more discussion?
Yes, I mean, do you want to add the years of service?
Well, I would only be doing that pretty subjectively on the fly. So I wouldn't, I'd prefer to have that in there, but
I think it would open it up to more candidates if we did,
Yeah.
if we said, bachelor's degree or so many years of experience, and you can attest to maybe how many years that they would require for that role.
I mean, that's what I was trying to accomplish. That last section says, I think GED or high school diploma and or experience of 2 years in recreational field. That's what I was trying to accomplish.
So AJ, that would cover it, that got experience. You wouldn't just bring somebody off the street that could dribble basketball.
No. And to be honest, we've interviewed quite a few that have bachelor's degrees. 2 of them I've turned down just because of their personalities, and I don't think they'd be a good fit. And
their ultimate end goal wasn't to be with a department like ours. They had other aspirations. And, we're looking for something a little more long-term than just be a stepping stone.
Any more comments on the job description? If not, call roll, please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson. Alderman Bellamy.
Aye.
Alderman Hodges.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley.
Items on the board, Alderman French.
I have no.
Alderman Anderson. Nothing. Alderman Bellamy.
I think, street department, well, all departments did one heck of a good job in the storm. They were out busting their rears, the street department, the water department, police department, fire department. It was what I like to see within the city as a team effort and not individual little odds here. And I think they did a magnificent job in these last bunch of storms and things you had.
Alderman Hall.
I want to say something good about somebody that seldom gets anything good said about. I want to commend the conference center for the job they're doing this year, and I want to commend them for they're putting on a concert. And I appreciate the fact that they're reaching out and doing things that the community can get involved with and make the conference center, make the people of Manchester feel like it's more theirs. And I just want to, and they're not here, so maybe, Ryan, you can tell your wife that I do appreciate what she's doing. I think she's doing a great job.
Bring me into this.
Thank you. Any comments from you? Appreciate it. I'd just like to thank everybody for coming and Stephen, I think that I appreciate how the industrial board is working in cooperation with the city of Manchester and all the people that are coming and the job that you're doing, Stephen Crooks. That just I thank you and I thank everybody in this whole city for doing a good job. With that, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Do I hear a second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you.